What's up guys, Peter here from Reviews on Anything, and in this video we're looking at the GoPro Hero 4 Session, which as you can tell is a tiny black cube. So quite the departure from the original GoPro design that everybody has come to know and love over the years. But it's still GoPro in every sense of the word. It's a rugged action camera that still captures the characteristic, beautiful widescreen images that GoPro is known for. The form factor means that this is waterproof out of the box, so you don't need any extra casing. And it's really all the functionality is right here, controlled with only one button. Now that sounds kind of tricky, but in practice it really isn't. You control this camera pretty much through the GoPro app. Now we're going to take a closer look, we're going to test it in a few different environments, and we're going to see if this is actually a good offering from GoPro, because it is quite pricey. It's actually on par with some of their other models with a better lens and more functionality. Alright, so here we are with the GoPro Hero 4 Session. This is all you get in the box here in Germany for a little over €200, 219 at Media Market to be exact. You get obviously the camera itself, which we'll get to in a minute. You get two adhesive mounts, so mounting brackets with a sticker. One that is slightly curved and one that is straight. So the curved one can go on a helmet, for example, and the straight one, you can really put it anywhere. Obviously you get some paperwork, quick start guide, some GoPro stickers, warranty information, and an actual full guide, you can see by the thickness, on all the functionality of the camera, which is kind of nice that you don't have to look it up and print it out yourself. It's kind of nice that it comes with the packaging. Then you got one cage, as they call it, mounting cage, on one GoPro branded mount, that obviously with this screw can be disattached. And this is really your mounting system that you use to, you put your GoPro in here, click it shut, and you can mount it on anything. Now the beauty obviously of a camera that is square is that you don't require a whole set of mounts in order to turn it around. If you want to turn it around, you simply take it out of the mount, turn it, and put it back in. Nice and easy. The only downside is that you can't put it upside down, because obviously you can't press the power button under here. But you can also get the similar cage with the mounting bracket on the side. So for example, if you want to put it on the side of a helmet like this, then that works as well. This is really your interface also with all accessories and all other GoPro products. This is universal for all GoPro things. So you can mount it on anything from suction caps to selfie sticks and so on. The only downside for that is obviously that GoPro original accessories are quite expensive. But on Amazon there's a whole range of all kinds of accessories from non-branded companies for a lot less money. Which is something actually I did. You can purchase like a whole kit with 50 accessories I think for 30 bucks. So that's definitely better than spending 30 bucks on one GoPro branded item. Is it as good? Probably not, but for that price point, you can afford to lose a few things and afford something to break here and there. Back to the camera though, let's see what is what in a closer look here. This is obviously the front of the camera. Let me hold it like this. As you can see, there's a little microphone grill up here, and the glass protecting the lens is actually removable. You can buy a kit from GoPro where you can remove the screws and put a new lens cover on, which is kind of nice because this is something that might break. Since there's no real case around this camera, the camera itself is the case, unlike other GoPros where you put the case around it. So this could break, and then it's nice that you can actually replace it. So that's a very thoughtful feature. On this side you have the little waterproof door for the micro USB charging and the micro storage card, which is great. You can go up to 64 gigs in here, and it has to be a super fast one in order to deal with all the images coming on, especially when you want to use high frame rates and high resolution. Obviously the door is waterproof, but you have to make sure it is closed properly, so that's something to keep in mind, but there's only one way to close it, so it's not that difficult. Nothing on the bottom, nothing on the other side. Here on top we have the one button operation and a little display. Now this button obviously serves as the start-stop button. If you press it, you see that it turns on and starts recording automatically. Now you can see that the display is backlit, which is a first for GoPro cameras. That means you can also see it in the dark or in darker environments, which is something that GoPros up until now didn't have. Turning it off is just as easy. You press the button again. And it's turned off. Now that's a built-in feature. It takes 2 seconds to turn on and it takes a few seconds to turn off, but it turns off completely, so it doesn't stay in standby mode, which is obviously to save battery. Now the battery is completely built in, you can't change it, you can't remove it, so that's what you're stuck with. So if you're looking for all day performance, you definitely have to bring an external battery pack with you. Now on the back of the camera there is, I suppose, the other button. This is what you use to cycle through the menu for as far as that's possible, change the setting, change a few settings, and it's also to connect to your phone through Wi-Fi. So that's really, all there is in terms of interfaces with the camera. Now, this camera is operated mainly, pretty much exclusively through the app. You can technically change some settings here on the display with the 2 buttons, but you can imagine that on a display this small and with only 2 buttons, that's quite the hassle, and you have to learn Morse codes almost in order to make that work. So technically it can be done up to a point, but really what you want is to change all the settings on your phone and make sure the camera is ready to go. Because that's really how this is designed. The 1 button operation is really press and go, and that's all, which means you have to set it up beforehand. Now that is something you should probably do at home, because you don't really want to take your phone into any kind of adventure where you might want to use this camera. So it is a bit of a hassle sort of on the road when you're about to do a surfing session or whatever. Then you have to get your phone out and fiddle with the settings, so that's probably something you want to do at home. In order to connect, you press the Wi-Fi button here on the back, and then you have to cycle through the display to app mode. Now it's in app mode, as you can see on the display, and then you press select and it is in pairing. Yes, we have connection. Now it's waiting a little bit till it actually establishes the connection, which is actually interesting because it switches obviously to my home Wi-Fi network whenever it's not connected to the GoPro, and vice versa. So that's something that you probably have to take into consideration. And there we go. Connection is there. Now in control you can see that we are connected, and that is the view up. You can see that the viewfinder is reasonable, but this is really where it all matters. You can change all the settings here, ranging from resolution to white balance to auto light focus to frames per second and so on. So really this is where you want to do all your setup of the camera. Make sure everything is ready to go and make sure everything is the way you want it. Now once that's all done, you can use this screen as your viewfinder and also to start recording if you want to. Now that's great, but I don't really do that in practice because that means you have to have your phone around all the time. So for me personally, I set it up here and that is it. And then I just use the camera in the field, so to speak. You could go for the GoPro remote app, the GoPro remote, which is a dedicated remote that you actually use to control the camera and to change a few settings as well, which is not as easy as the app, but it works if you want something to change things on the fly when you're out and about. So in the end, what do we make of the GoPro Hero 4 session? I like it a lot actually. I think this is an exercise in how cool and how good a camera can be and how simple it can be to operate it. The 1 button, sounds tricky in the beginning, but I find in daily practice you set it up once in the app and that's really how you're going to use it. I don't really find myself thinking, oh, I'm on a surfboard now, I need to change the settings, or oh, I will go skydiving and have to change the settings again. That doesn't really work like that. You just set it up the way you want it for the resolution and the frame rate, and then that's just how you use it. I really like the 1 button operation, press and go. There's a bit, the delay of 2 seconds before it actually starts recording could be annoying, but as long as you take it into account, I don't really see that as a problem either. The one thing that I don't really like is the battery life. The battery runs out quickly and you can't really, you can't change the battery, so that's just, you're stuck with that. So if you're looking for all day performance, you're really gonna have to carry an extra battery around. Other than that, I like it a lot, and I think the premium that you have to pay, because it's the same price as other models with more functionality, I think the premium you pay is really for the form factor and the fact that you can use it out of the box as a waterproof camera right away. Yeah, you know, that's something to consider. It's not cheap. I would say it's worth it. You know, the form factor is so nice and the operation is so simple that for me, I don't mind paying that premium for the camera, even though the sensor is not as good as other models. This is Peter from Reviews on Anything with a look at the GoPro Hero 4 Session. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers!